The following is a presentation of 912 Sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, your number one source for high school sports. With Sean Smoke, Kevin Price, and Robbie Ross. On Air with 912 Sports is brought to you by Coastal Pines Technical College. Go Coastal. Prime South Bank. Find your prime. Robbie Robertson Ford, because Fords are cheaper in the swamp. Gibson Animal Clinic, practical solutions with limited fees. Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, the region's best orthopedic care. And Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined here by the Ware County head coach, Coach Jason Strickland. Coach, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Hey, we're good, bud. Getting to play one more game, so that's pretty exciting.
Exactly, Coach. Coming off a big 31-7 victory over Dutchtown this past Friday night at Memorial Stadium. And, Coach, going into that game, your seniors knew that was going to be the last opportunity they'd have to play at Memorial Stadium. And your senior bunch, Coach, just played lights out and took full advantage knowing that was the last time they were going to be on that field.
Yeah, it was pretty emotional. We had, it was something that we had discussed really all week, and kind of making that trip over to the stadium the last time with that caravan and getting out there. We really wanted our seniors to kind of soak up the moment, and then you hope they were going to go play well. And man, they played lights out, and just another very, very impactful game for our community, for our football program. Just a unique group of young men, and we fully expected them to play well, and they did.
Yeah. Well, Coach, you played really well in all three phases of the game. Your special teams kind of got it started off. Dutchtown won the toss, deferred to the second half, kicked off to our guys. We kind of go 3 and out, but then your defense steps up, gets a big stop, and then your special teams just comes through. A block punt by Jaden Jones, and then I believe it was a scoop and score by L.J. Hall. Really electrified the crowd and really set the tone for the whole football game.
Yeah. When Jaden got the block there, and then obviously I thought we had a great plan by Coach Waters to go get one, but seeing those guys executed exactly the way they've been coached to do, and then LJ unselfishly understanding what his role in the block was, and that was not to go block the kick, it was to be there for a scoop and score, and boom, it happens just like you draw it up. Him taking it back, and man, that rabid fan base that we had that was standing room only up there just went nuts, and I don't know that they ever sat down after that, and it just kind of really fueled our whole sideline for the rest of the game.
Right. Well, your offense definitely did their job Friday night, putting 31 points on the board, but really had 24-7 lead going into halftime. But talk a little bit about that side of the ball. Another great night for Nico. Another great night for Jarvis Hayes, and then R.J. Boyd and Dennis run hard all night long at running back.
Yeah, I think it was R.J.'s biggest rush total night of his career, and I think he wound up with 144 yards rushing or something like that. I think Jarvis sitting there with, I think, 8 receptions for 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. Nico was very efficient, 15 of 17 for about 150 yards. And, that's what we need. And Dejan coming in and being able to convert some crucial third downs and keep the chains going, keeping the ball on our sideline. Brandon Washington had another really good night efficiently. And then I can't say enough about those guys up front. Just going against that defensive box that they were having to go against, and how athletic and strong and that group was. And we had seen just time and time again Dutchtown just completely annihilate and shut offenses down. And our group up front took the challenge last week, understanding how important their role was going to be, and being able to find us some rushing yardage and being able to protect Nico. And it was like I said, it was very, very complimentary football.
Right. And then you flip over to the defensive side of the ball, only gave up 7 points all night long, shut them down in the second half. I think they had less than, right around the 50-yard mark for total offense there in the second half. But again, this has been like I said, you like to use the word bell cow. This has been our bell cow all year long, and those guys really showed up and showed out Friday night.
Yeah, we're going to be as good as we are defensively right now. We know that, and kind of the thing that we're harping on from our guys in the other 2 phases is, number one, let's run down on kickoff and make sure we get a good coverage right there. So now that offense has got a long way to go against a really good defense. And then from us offensively, just kind of understand who we are, and let's don't turn the ball over. Let's don't try to do anything crazy. We'll get our points when those opportunities arrive. When we have a chance to make a big play, we need to go make the big play. But we're going to rely on that defense and those guys getting after it. I thought our defensive staff made a terrific halftime adjustment with being able to really kind of get control of their running game. And like you said, I think we held them to less than 50 yards of total offense there in the second half. And a huge part of that was the adjustment that was made. But the other part of that is those guys being willing to go out and execute the adjustment that was made at halftime. And once you kind of saw us running around there in the second half, we felt like, man, this is going to be really hard for Dutchtown to get back in this thing.
Yeah, and again, Trey Hargrove, L.J. Hall, Demetrius Baldwin, K.J. Baker, your defensive seniors really played great game.
Yeah, they did, and it's been all year. We could say those same names, and not just the seniors, but Jaden Jones and Jamar Burden, just Marquand Washington, and then Gannon Goble played a huge role the other night as a senior. So it just kind of J.B. Barkley, and right on and on and on and on. Number one, we're playing 23, 24 guys over there every Friday night, and it's awesome to see those guys trusting each other and running around like their hair's on fire, making plays, and they have really taken this mantle of being this Blackwater defense that represents this community, and they've created their own identity, and they're pretty doggone good at it.
Yeah, they're pretty salty to say the least. But Gators get a big win, 31-7, puts you into the state title game. Got to go to Atlanta this Saturday and play Warner Robins, our old nemesis from the region that we just came out of before they did reclassification. Team that we know pretty well, a team that knows us pretty well. But let's take a look at that game, Coach. There's really not a whole lot to say. I mean, this team's played for, I think, the last 5 or 6 state titles. So they've been there, done that, got the T-shirt to prove it. But talk a little bit about Warner Robins and what we're going to see when we get to the old Ted Turner Field.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where it's almost getting to where, at the beginning of the season, you can probably write Warner Robins in one of those state championship slots and figure out who the other team's going to be. But Coach Westbrook's just done a phenomenal job since he's been there, and I think this is 6 straight years they've been in it. Winning the last 2, kind of going away, and They're just they're just a phenomenal group of football players and coaches. And Coach Westbrook has created a culture there that has, they fully expect to be playing this time of year. And obviously this year they've had to overcome some adversity, and it's probably made them stronger, really, and figuring out other ways to win and have success. And they have been on a heck of a roll over the last several weeks. And, the big names, Vic Burley, but they've got so many really, really good players at so many different positions. And it's like we said, for the last couple of years, they're not overly complicated on offense. They want to run the football. They want to play at an incredible tempo, and then they're going to play action pass and throw it to some elite receivers. And then over on the defensive side of the football, they're going to give you every front, known to man, and they're going to move Vic Burley around all over the place to make you account for him. And man, they just do a great job of creating mismatches. And over the last several weeks, it's really worked for them. And the big thing for us, what we've said is, we've got to be sound in the run game. We've got to be able to get lined up to this tempo they're going to play, and we've got to protect the football. I mean, you're playing a team that's really good. They don't need any help. Right? They've proven they're really good, so we don't need to help them. If we can do that, we feel like we got a shot.
Right. And that's one of the things you said. The last couple of teams they beat have helped them.
Yes.
Cartersville, 4 turnovers last Friday night. Not going to win a lot of football games turning the ball over 4 times.
No, and it's especially this time of year, you're playing the best of the best. And I mean, if you're turning it over, it's it's going to be a long day. And games like this usually come down to kind of one of the some of those small moments like that. Is it one turnover, a special teams play, something where there's a misalignment and a miscommunication. It's going to be something like that when you feel like two teams are really good and match up very well against each other. Somehow we've got to win that turnover battle, win the special teams battle, make sure we're lined up and being able to be prepared against this tempo that we're going to see Saturday. And if we can do those things, then we like our odds. If not, we're going, we may get our nose bloody.
Well, Coach, you talked about it. A lot of things different about this game. This game's Saturday, not Friday. Got to go on the road, play the last 4 games at home. But talk a little bit about the logistics that goes into playing a game like this.
Well, kind of what we talked a little bit about the podcast earlier in the week is, it's going to be a big deal if you make it a big deal. So we're trying to accept the things that we can't control, and that's it's the biggest game of your life, and let's change everything about it. We're going to go up Saturday morning. The time slot, the arrival slot that GHSA gave us, I thought fit really well for us to be able to go up Saturday morning, kind of make a day of it, and make a couple pit stops at some spots, and pregame meals a little bit earlier, obviously. We'll get there, and normally you got an hour and 10 minutes for a pregame. Saturday you got 30 minutes. Locker room situation. We have to kind of get all those type things figured out. But playing at 3:30 on a Saturday. The good thing is I think the weather's going to be pretty solid for us at that time. There's a bunch of logistics to get worked out to take what winds up being about 160, 170 people up for a football game in Atlanta, Georgia at 3:30 on a Saturday. But if they right now they told us we had to play on the Florida Panhandle, we'd probably make that trip somehow.
We'd figure it out. Yeah. Well, one thing about it, Coach, is if we could create the atmosphere that was in Memorial Stadium Friday night in that place on Saturday, we'll definitely take a home field advantage with us.
Yeah, that's the thing is, the atmosphere that was in Memorial Stadium Friday night was unbelievable. It was it was the most electric atmosphere I've ever coached in, I would like to say that Ware County will be right back in this thing, but I think what this shows is how hard it is to get this football game, which is really impressive with what Warner Robins has done. The last time we've been in it's been 10 years ago. Let's don't assume we're going to be right back in there. Now, obviously, that's our goal, but we need this entire community to find a way to get to Atlanta, Georgia Saturday and show up loud. We're going to be on the home side, so kind of everybody understand that, and we'll get there early, and you can watch a couple football games and be able to cheer the Gators on hopefully for a state championship.
Yep. Well, Coach, we appreciate your time. Appreciate all season long, really. And you guys go get better this week. And as always, go Gators.
Go Gators, Sean. Appreciate you guys, man. Big time.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined as always by head writer and podcast host Kevin Price. Kevin, how you doing?
Good, Sean. Hard to believe we're at the end of the 2022 season. Going to be a big weekend of high school football, actually starting on Thursday night. So a great 3 days to showcase Peach State High School pigskin, but after Saturday night, I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, we are going to move on to basketball, and I'm excited about that, but you know what I mean.
Exactly. And, hey, want to make everybody aware, go ahead and mark your calendars. Next Thursday, the 15th of December, we're going to be having our big annual football award show right here on air with 912 Sports, right here on Facebook Live. So tune in at 7 o'clock, same time. But we're going to be giving away a lot of hardware, Kevin, to a lot of deserving people. And like I said, we'll have more information on that to come. But like I said, go ahead and mark your calendars for Thursday the 15th to be right back here for that big award show. But, Kevin, the fever pitch in Ware County, man, is exciting. Everybody's, about to lose their mind. There's all kind of send-offs planned and everything else for Saturday morning. Appreciate Coach Strickland giving us his time there and telling us a little bit about, from the coach's perspective, of that big game there this past Friday night. But let's go back, Kevin, and talk about the other game that happened Friday night in the 912 area, and that was Appling County. Appling County goes down to a solid Thompson team. It loses their opportunity to go to the Final Four. But, hey, for the second year in a row, Coach Jordan Mullis has been a head coach. He goes all the way to the semifinals. So a fantastic year there for the Appling County Pirates.
Yeah, without question. I mean, they were in the semifinals for the second year in a row, like you say. This year, unlike last year, was at home, so everybody was obviously more excited and certainly felt even better about their chances. But look, this is a really, really good Thompson team. They're about to face the defending champion in Fitzgerald that we'll talk about as we preview these games, but I'm not going to be surprised at all if they go on and win the whole shooting match. So they're really good. I know that was disappointing after Appling had taken the lead there in the fourth quarter, but they did come back. They gave themselves a chance all the way down to the wire. And you and I talked about it, Sean. I mean, they're going to lose some good seniors off this club, but all in all, this Appling team is young. And they're going to have a lot of playmakers back, a lot of good guys in the trenches back. And they're loaded and ready to go going forward. So still going to be exciting to see what this Pirates bunch can do moving on. I know they wanted to get it done this year, but there's going to be some chances moving forward as well.
Yeah, and if you watch the scoreboard show, Joe was at that game. He kind of gave us some insight. And the Curry kid from Thompson is special. Joe said by far he's the best running back he's seen all year. And anytime you play a special player like that in high school, you kind of got your hands full.
Yeah, no question. I mean, he took over that game in the quarterfinals, not really took over this game, but had a big game the other night against Appling as well. And that's going to be job number one for Fitzgerald. If they're going to win the game, they've got to slow him down and keep him from dominating that game in the state final this weekend.
Yeah, like I said, going to be a good one there in 2A. We're going to preview all the games coming up after this. But the other one, and you already heard from the coach's perspective, Kevin, but we'll chip in our stuff. And that was the Ware County Gators playing at home against a very, very good Dutchtown team. Dutchtown come in. We thought it was going to be a defensive battle, only giving up 10 points a game. The Gators able to put up 31 points on the board. Did it through great defense, timely offense, and really great special teams with Jordan Jones blocking a punt right there in the first series. AJ Hall scooping it up and scoring with a special teams touchdown really set the tone for that game. But the Gators and that strong defense able to get it done here in the Swamp against Dutchtown.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting that a special teams play started the scoring for Ware County, because you kind of figured maybe with two great defenses like this, it might be something like that breaks the game wide open. But obviously, Ware County's offense got going early. They jumped out to a big lead there early and led that game fairly comfortable at halftime. Then ended up winning, 31-7. But good formula for winning. Obviously, they're going hanging their hat on that defense. Another great defensive effort by Ware County, particularly in the second half, keeping Dutchtown bottled up, on their side of the field and creating good field position for their offense. And then obviously, running downhill, being physical with the Dutchtown defense. They got those two backs going, Boyd and Dennis, and then Smith and Hayes hooking up for a couple of big touchdown plays. I think that recipe is another good one for Ware County this week. I mean, obviously, are we talking about the championship game now as well?
Well, no, we're just kind of recapping that game there from Friday night. So
okay, I'm good.
Well, like I said, I mean, the defense has been the formula all year. Those guys stood up. Those seniors going in, and Coach made a big point of that. Those seniors, Kevin, going into that game Friday night, knew that was the last time they were going to walk on that field there at Memorial Stadium. You don't always get that when you're in high school. Sometimes it's kind of an iffy thing if you know, but they knew regardless of what happened, win, lose, or draw, that was the last time they were going to get to play in that stadium. And I think it meant, a little bit more to those guys. And that senior class really showed out and stepped up and played big time there Friday night.
Yeah, and we talked about it with Coach Strickland on the scoreboard show. And you've talked about it, with him for weeks, and so have we in general. And, we certainly appreciate his time the last few weeks after those ball games coming on with us and giving us some insight. But, one key we think to this Ware County team is the closeness of this team. I mean, certainly they've had a lot of talent in the past, but one X factor for this team is just how they all get along. They're not worried about who gets the accolades and all that kind of good stuff. And a lot of that starts with these senior leaders and this senior class. They want this team to do well. They want to get this state championship for their class, the whole program, the whole Waycross community. And that's what it's really all about. And they're leading the way. And obviously, certainly if Ware County can get it done, they're always going to be a special group there in the history of Gators football.
Exactly. And, hey, if you're a Gator fan, this team needs you this Saturday at 7:30. Going to have a big championship send-off on Victory Drive. We want to line both sides of the street all the way from the school, all the way out to Corridor Z. So come on out, make your signs, get your noisemakers ready. When this team departs to go to Atlanta, we want to give them a huge, huge send-off. So if you're a Gator fan, make your plans now for Saturday morning, 7:30, to line both sides of Victory Drive and send these kids off in style. But, hey, Kevin, we're going to take a quick break, pay some bills, and come right back here and preview all the big games coming up in Atlanta this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We'll be right back here on Air with 912 Sports.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Welcome back, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Spoke, joined as always by Kevin Price, and we're going to preview all 8 big games coming up this weekend, really Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Atlanta, as the state championships are going to be played right there. And Kevin, by all accounts, it looks like right now we're going to get pretty decent weather as compared to some of these championship games in the past. I know when Ware County plays on Saturday, the kickoff, the projected temperature is like 62, 63 degrees and no chance of rain. So that's pretty strong. Of course, those are early predictions, all that's subject to change. But we'll take that over some of the stuff they've had in the past all day long. But let's jump right into it, Kevin. We'll start at 7A. We've got Mill Creek. It's going to be at Carrollton. And I'm using that because, I mean, we're in the stadium. We know nobody's got a home field advantage, but hey, somebody's got to be home. Somebody's got to be away. Carrollton is going to be the home team in this game. This game is going to be played Saturday night. It's the final game of the championship weekend at 7 p.m. But this is going to be an interesting game. Mill Creek blew Milton out at the 5 o'clock game last Friday, and then Carrollton was able to go on the road, Kevin, get a big win in the Hog Pen against a very, very talented Colquitt team. So this is going to be a battle royale there in the big classification.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I'd hate to be the defensive coordinator for either one of these teams this week because they're working overtime, just trying to look for every little bit of thing they can try to find to slow down these two offenses, because both offenses have some firepower. So if you're just a football fan, like Lane Kiffin said, grab that popcorn and get ready for this one Friday night, or Saturday night, because the football season here in Georgia could end with a bang with these two teams. I mean, this Carrollton team, they had that freshman quarterback, Sean, that you know about. They call him Juju Lewis. I think his real name is Julian Lewis. But last week he threw for 248 yards and 2 touchdowns. He has almost 3,600 yards passing and 43 touchdowns. And I believe those are records for a freshman in the state of Georgia. They also have a pretty good running back, Bryson Hicks, who's a state player of the year, I think. This week he had over 200 yards the other night in that game. He has over 2,000 yards from scrimmage, 1,500 of that rushing and another 500 or so receiving. And then Mill Creek, like I say, a lot of firepower on their side of the offensive side of the ball as well. I think the other night against Milton, they scored on their first 5 possessions and just won that game going away. This is their first ever final for Mill Creek, so they're going to be excited about that. Carrollton, of course, a long-time power, but this is their first final since 2013. They're in the highest classification this year for the first time. They haven't won a title since 1998, but if you know Georgia high school football, you know Carrollton has been around for a long time. This should be a really good one, a good way to close out the 2022 season here in the Peach State.
Yeah, and this is a school that's either grown or gotten caught by the multiplier, Kevin, because I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that state championship in 98 was either in 2 or 3A.
Ooh, yeah, I'd have to go back and look at that, but they've probably been steadily getting bigger. Or are they a city school? If
they're a city school,
then they're getting hit by that multiplier for sure, probably.
Yeah, they're a city school that's been getting hit by that multiplier, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, a great job there by Carrollton. It's going to be fun to watch that freshman over the next couple of years. I mean, he's going to be something special. So, but let's move right along, Kevin, to 6A. We've got Gainesville at Hughes. Well, actually, I think Gainesville is a home team at in this game because they're in the top part of that bracket. This game's going to be played Friday at 7 p.m. Gainesville kind of revamped the whole shooting match this past offseason, Kevin. Got a new coach, brought in the guy from Hoover. He's done a fantastic job. And then you got Hughes sitting there that probably should have won a state championship last year against Buford, come up a few points short, but was in that game to the bitter end. This is going to be another a great matchup. I think Hughes has got maybe a few more bullets in the gun than Gainesville does. But listen, this guy has went, 14-0 or 13-0 or whatever they are there at Gainesville. So he knows how to win, Kevin, and he's got his guy, the Red Elephants, right there in a position to take another title.
Yeah, Gainesville won last week 35-28 over Roswell, held Roswell inside the 5-yard line on 1st and goal there in the final 2 minutes to pull out that game. And so here we are, Gainesville and Hughes. And this Gainesville team, you're right, Sean, it's the first time they're back in the state championship game since 2012. You know all about that one. Deshaun Watson was in that game with Gainesville when they beat Ware County and head coach Ed Dudley's team. They have not gone undefeated, Sean, in a long, long time since 1925. So if they could be used, that would be a major factor there for them as well. But, Sean, this huge team, you talk about offense, you talk about offensive firepower. It starts with the quarterback, Prentice Nolan. They've got a chance to score a state record, 759 points. The record is 758. They only need 2 points, I think, to either tie or break that record. So they should obviously break that record. They could also become the first team in state history to score over 40 points in every one of their games if they were to hit the over 40 mark. And I think there's some other number floating out there that if they were to win by 20 or more, they would become the first team in state history to beat all of their opponents by 20-plus points. So a lot on the line, subplot-wise for Hughes, but the main thing they're after is that state championship. Gave Buford all they wanted last year, lost that game in the final seconds, and I expect they'll be hoisting the trophy Friday night to round out day 2, I guess it is, of this year's 3-day set there in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's going to be some big boy football there between these two teams. A lot of, like I said, a lot of firepower on both sides of the ball. So we'll see how that one shakes out. But we're going to move on to 3:30 on Saturday as the Warner Robins Demons will be playing the Ware County Gators. Ware County will be the home team in that game. Of course, this is the one that everybody in the 912 is talking about, Kevin. Gators come into this contest 13-0 in the season, hoping to go 14-0 by getting that victory over Warner Robins. Warner Robins is your 2 times defending state champs, won it the last 2 years, and have played for it. I believe this will be the 6th year in a row, Kevin, that Warner Robins has played for the 5A state title under 2 different head coaching or 2 different head coaches. So this team knows how to win. They've been there before. They've done that, as they say. They've got the T-shirt. This is all new business for Ware County, but Ware County thinks they've got to have a special bunch, and hopefully the Gators can go on the road and get this thing done there on Saturday at 3:30.
Yeah, well, looking at this game, I mean, obviously, you mentioned it. Ware County, this is new, if you will, for these kids. I mean, the last time Ware was in the state championship game was that 2012 game against Gainesville that we talked about. This old hat from Warner Robins. This is their 6th in a row. I think they ties Buford and somebody else for the most consecutive straights.
Yeah, I think it's Elka.
Elka, that's right. That's right. They would get their 3rd championship in a row if they were to win it. I may be a little bit concerned with that factor, but here's the difference. Ware is not going to be intimidated by Warner Robins, and that's largely because they faced them in the same region the last couple of years. So they're familiar with this Warner Robins program, the name across the jersey, and these particular players. And I think that's going to make preparing for this game a little easier for Warner Robins and Ware County, just because of the familiarity with the 2 teams in recent years. Of course, this year's teams is what they're really trying to break down. But, I like this Gators defense. It gives you a chance to win any game that you play. They've certainly been a special group all year. I think if they go out and play their normal game, settle in, they can get that running game going again like they did last week, hook up with some big plays in the passing game like they did last week, get that ball to Jarvis Hayes on the perimeter, let him make some plays in the open field. I think Ware will be just fine and will have a chance to win this one. It might be nip and tuck. Who knows? But I do like Ware County. I do like their defense for sure, and they should get just enough offense to give them a chance.
Yeah, going to be, like I said, this is going to be an abandoned city come Saturday because I do believe most Waycrossians will be on the road to Atlanta to check this one out on Saturday at 3:30. So go Gators. And then we'll move on to the 4A. This will be Benedictine at Cedartown. Cedartown's going to be the home team in this one. This game's going to be, Kevin, 3:30 on Friday. Cedartown, another Ware County, past Ware County coach, Jamie Abrams, is the head coach at Cedartown. Has done a fantastic job up there. Benedictine, a 912 school from right up the road there in Savannah. Benedictine is defending 4A state champion. Cedartown undefeated on the season. Benedictine with 2 losses, 1 to Ware, 1 to a big school out of Miami, big private school out of Miami. But these 2 guys know how to get it done. So we'll see again if that experience outweighs the good play of Cedartown. But another good one there Friday at 3:30.
Yeah, Benedictine ran away with their game the other night against Troop. I think led that game 35-0 at halftime. Ended up winning 42-21. Cedartown in a much closer ball game, winning 28-20 against North Oconee. Now, they did take charge in the second half, went up by as much as 28-13 early in the fourth quarter, then held on for the win. I think they stopped
Oconee.
Right there at the end of the game, inside the 40-yard line anyway. But North Oconee, Sean, held Cedartown to a season low 231 yards. We knew about North Oconee's defense and just their whole team by, talking about them, breaking them down when they played Wayne County in the quarterfinals. But Cedartown, a really good defense, held that North Oconee offense to 136 yards. So the matchup I'm looking at in this game is that Cedartown defense against that Benedictine offense. The chess match there should be really good, and I think that could be one to watch as we go through these games and through this game in particular. That's going to be a fun matchup to watch right there.
Exactly. Well, that's 4 of them out of the way, Kevin. Let's take a break, and we'll come back and do the other 4. We'll be right back here with more On Air with 912 Sports.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
Welcome back, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. That's 4 down with 4 to go, so we're going to jump right back into it. The 3A state championship is going to be Cedar Grove at Sandy Creek. Sandy Creek's going to be the home team in this one. This game is going to get kicked off at noon on Saturday, so this will be the first game out of the Saturday slate. But, Kevin, we've talked about it all year long. Cedar Grove is kind of the gold standard in 3A. It really doesn't matter how many A's you put in front of it. This bunch can play with anybody in the state, and they have all year long. As a matter of fact, you go back and look at their 2 losses. It's to one guy that's in the 7A state championship and another one that went out in the semis. So this is a very, very talented football team. Sandy Creek and Cedar Grove in the same region. This game's already been played one time this year with Cedar Grove coming out on top. But, hey, kind of tough to beat a team twice in the same year, Kevin. So maybe Sandy Creek's got a little bit of a shot there. But we'll see how things shake out there at noon on Saturday there in Atlanta.
Yeah, Cedar Grove, obviously the defending champ. I think this is their going for their 5th title in 7 seasons. So you're talking about them being the standard. Obviously, these 2 teams very familiar with each other, having already met. Cedar Grove won that game when they played in the same region game there. 49-34. That was in late October. So obviously a little bit of a high scoring game. The other night, Cedar Grove got it done in the semifinal against Oconee with a running attack and great defense. They rushed for over 200 yards and held Oconee County to 120 yards. I'm sure they're going to want to keep that football in their possession, running that ball downhill against Sandy Creek and trying to keep it away from Sandy Creek's quarterback, who threw for over 300 yards the other night in their semifinal and 4 touchdowns. So I think the recipe for Cedar Grove, much like last week, run that football and try to keep away from Sandy Creek and keep that offense off the field.
Yeah, and like I said, formula's been working for Cedar Grove. Like I said, 5 state championships in 7 years. That's a program there for sure. So we'll move right along down into AA. We've talked about Thompson a little bit earlier as they defeated Appleton last week. Thompson's going to play at Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald's going to be the home team. This is going to be the first game of Friday's slate, Kevin, 12 o'clock noon kickoff. Tucker Pruitt and his Purple Hurricane bunch going back to Atlanta. Second year in a row, they're the defending state champs. But, oh, by the way, Coach Youngblood's got a little young man by the name of Curry on his Thompson football team that's pretty good that Fitzgerald's going to have their hands full with there on Friday.
Yeah, no question. I mean, this is the defending champ against another program that's known, for turning out good football teams year after year. They've been up and down maybe a little bit, in more recent years, but here they are again, Thompson. And we mentioned it earlier when we were talking about the Appleton game. I think job number one is to keep the John Tavius Curry kid for Thompson from dominating this football game. He had 15 carries for 171 yards the other night against Appleton, scored on that 77-yard run to take the momentum right back away from Appleton after the Pirates had taken the lead there in the fourth quarter. Sean, we know what he did in the week before in the quarterfinals. I think he returned a couple of kickoffs for over 90 yards, right? Both of them?
92 and 96 yards.
Yeah, for touchdowns in the fourth quarter alone, as that game in the fourth quarter against South Atlanta, I think it was, went back and forth before Thompson won it. But I tell you what, Fitzgerald has the makings to do it, though. They held the Fellowship Christian team the other night that knocked Pierce County out in the quarterfinals to 124 yards total for the game. So, Fitzgerald's known for, running the ball downhill, but they got a good run defense as well. This could be a fast-moving game if both teams keep it on the ground. So maybe they'll stay on schedule Friday with getting off to a good start there at high noon and getting that next game kicked off on time. But I'm looking forward to this one. I'm going to try to be, in my easy boy chair at high noon on Saturday, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one there. I'm just excited to see the Curry kid play. I've heard of so much about him, and I've seen all the statistics. I'm ready to watch him play. So we'll see if he can get it done or if Fitzgerald can repeat there. But we'll move down into the single A now. We'll go to Division I. We're going to get Prince Avenue Christian at Swainsboro. This game's going to be Thursday, Kevin. This is going to be the late game Thursday, 8 p.m. Listen. Swainsboro had done what nobody thought they could do. They went into Irwin County last week. They got it done late. One of those nail biters. I think they kicked the field goal with 2 seconds left to go to win that thing 22-21. So congratulations to the Tigers. But, oh, by the way, you get to go play Prince Avenue Christian, who's been sitting there ranked number one pretty much most of the season or in the top 2 or 3 anyway. This is where the quarterback that's at Georgia, Vandergriff, I think is his dad still the coach there, Kevin?
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah,
I think Rob Ridings, that used to be the coach at Glenn, and Thompson, by the way, may still be their defensive coordinator.
Right. So a lot of good coaches there on that staff there at Prince Avenue, and they continue to do their thing. I think the year that Vandergriff was a senior, they won it all. And so they're right back in it here a few years later. But listen, this Swainsboro team, and we know, Kevin, we saw them a couple of years ago, 2 years ago over at the Pinelands. They've got a special quarterback. I believe the young man's name is like TJ Adams or something like that. He is very, very talented. So this is going to be a really, really, I think it's going to be a high scoring game. It's going to be a fun one to watch there Thursday night at 8 p.m.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that when Swainsboro kicked that field goal the other night, that was that kid's first ever successful field goal.
Oh,
and
wow.
His only other attempt was one earlier in that game that got blocked.
Ooh.
So you imagine what was going through that kid's head when they see
That's
him out
impressive.
there. But, that's going to be a legendary victory in the history of that Swainsboro program, regardless of what happens. But certainly, if they were to go on and win it, it will be even more magnified. But this is Swainsboro's first final since the year 2000. They have not been undefeated, Sean, which they have a chance to do if they can win this one since 1940. Now, the other night, they got it done with a heck of a running game, 331 yards rushing. The Adams kid, their quarterback, 97 yards on the ground. DeMello Jones had 169 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, obviously, Prince Avenue Christian, much like Irwin County, a program, not a team, a program. This is their third straight final. As you mentioned, they're going for their second straight state championship, I believe it is. And so, once again, Swainsboro is going to have to beat a program to win this ball game. But, of course, coming off that victory last week. They've got to feel like they can beat, the Green Bay Packers or the New England Patriots. So we'll see if they can go out and get it done one more time and make what they did last week really count for something and even more special.
Exactly. Well, that's the nightcap on Thursday. But to kick everything off on Thursday, the first game of the 2022 Championship Series is going to be Schley County at Bowden. Bowden, like I said, put up a ton of points. Schley County's put up a ton of points. This game, Kevin, could be 49-52 at the end of it. I mean, both of these offenses can move the ball up and down the field. So we'll see what happens there Thursday at 5 p.m. in the 1A Division II Championship.
Yeah, Sean, and I saw this as I was reading through some material, earlier in the week. 2 kids for Bowden the other night. Bowden had 470 yards, and these 2 kids I'm about to mention had 467 yards of those 470. TJ Harvison ran for 203 yards and 3 touchdowns. Then their quarterback, Robert McNeil, had, I believe, 144 yards rushing, and then the rest passing, I guess. So obviously, they're a 2-headed monster that that you have to deal with. And then this Schley team, Sean, has rolled up the points. They played pretty good defense. It kind of looked like to me when this whole deal started that this was their deal to win. And here they are with a chance to do it. They just opened their doors to the high school in 2000. So this is their first ever state championship appearance. And one note, Sean, on that game the other night, of course, they beat Johnson County, of course, where Herschel Walker first made his name before going on to stardom at the University of Georgia and winning the Heisman Trophy. Stetson Bennett, by the way, Sean, out of Pierce County, a Heisman Trophy finalist, one of our 912 favorites here. But
and he won the Bullsworth Award last night, so congratulations on that.
That's right. Jermivy Tucker, the running back for Johnson, he had already broken Herschel's single season record, I think, and maybe not his career, I don't think, but ran for 218 yards the other night. He now has 2,916 yards on the season, which does lead the state going into the final weekend, all rushers in the state, and that's 5th all time in Georgia high school history for a single season.
That's rolling up some yards there. And as a matter of fact, they're the ones that put Clinch County out earlier this season. So Clinch had to face him face to face. So they know how talented he is. So, but like I said, that's going to open up the things there on Thursday at 5 p.m. Schley at Bowden. So, but listen, it's going to be a great slate of games. The great thing about it is, Kevin, like you said, you can get in your easy chair and start Thursday afternoon at 5 o'clock. Watch all these games on GPB TV right there in your house. They'll be bringing you every snap live. One of my favorite weekends of the year right here. Sit back and watch a lot of quality football right there in your home.
Yeah, me too. No question. I mean, it's 3 nights now. I mean, it used to always be on Friday and Saturday. Of course, we used to have the semifinals, and then when they, decided to go to the finals, here that made it great. And that's one thing about it. I don't know if we'll ever go back to state championship games being at home sites. I know a lot of people are all about that, but the beauty of it being at the neutral site like this is, it's set up for TV and, get the whole crowd assembling in one place and then get everybody watching all across the state or really anywhere in the country or around the world, with the internet these days. It's really a showcase of Georgia high school football. We talked about that on the scoreboard show last Friday night. Again, you see all the reasons that Georgia is a great, great state for high school football over this championship weekend. It's one of my favorite weekends of the year, too, like you said. And one memory that I'll never forget when we were watching football and a couple of other things with some buddies. We had kind of the 3 TV set up, watching some other sports going on. Braves trade Adam Wainwright. It was on this weekend, and we all about lost it. But anyway, that's a side note for another day.
Hey, going to be great football this weekend. Hey, look, go ahead and make your plans now. Next Thursday, the 15th, tune back in right here as we have the 912 Sports Football Award Show for 2022. Going to give away a lot of hardware to a lot of deserving players. So tune in and check that out. But hey, good luck to all the teams in Atlanta, especially the Ware County Gators. Go Gators. And I appreciate everybody watching. We'll be right back here with more On Air with 912 Sports after these messages.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Calling us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
This has been a presentation of 912 Sports.